dedicated to all those who fight to keep our families free. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruity plains. Oh, America, oh, America, oh, God shed His grace on me and crown my good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, oh, I love you, America. God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruity plains. Oh, America, oh, America, oh, God shed His grace on me and crown my good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, oh, I love you, America. God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea.
Hello, I'm here with Jerome. He lives in Killingworth, Connecticut, and I've assembled a panel of some of my friends here. This is Jonathan, Grace, and Tyler, and we're just going to ask Jerome some questions about himself and his service. So first, Jerome, would you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
I was born in New York, raised in Connecticut, and went to college at Boston College. And that was about the time that I got involved in the Marine Corps, because when I was in college, there was a draft. You know what a draft is,
Yeah.
right? You have to go in the service. And I was on a football scholarship. And it was a full boat football scholarship, and I didn't want to lose that. But there was a way that you could join the reserves, stay in college, and then you had to go into the service. You had to end up going sooner or later. And so I joined the Marine Corps Reserves. It meant you were supposed to do 2 summers down in Quantico, but I did the two sessions, 2 6-week sessions in 1 year, which is a good way to lose 50 pounds. But anyway, so after graduation, the next day after graduation, I had to be in Quantico. I was going to officer school, and I went through officer school, and at the same time, we had a new general down in Quantico, and he wanted to have a good football team. And he had 1,500 young officers there, 600 of which played football. And he had the list, and he went through the list, and he told, certain ones, and I happened to be included in it, that we were going to play football and go to school at the same time. And we traveled all over the country, and it was kind of interesting because we had an unbelievable football team. We won every game for 2 years.
Wow.
The last game we played was in Galveston, Texas, and they called it the Missile Bowl. It was a long time ago, but we won, believe it or not, we won that game 90-0.
Wow.
Now, the first team never played after the first half, and the second team never played after that. So, anyway, so I figured at that time that's enough football. I had enough injuries, enough stitches, enough things. So I was combat engineer, and for some reason they thought I could blow things up because I have a degree in chemistry from Boston College, and I could, and I did. And, so it was very interesting, and by that time it was time for me to get out. I already had 1 daughter and another daughter on the way. I have 5 daughters.
Wow.
So at this point. And so I said, yeah, that's enough. I mean, I love the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I would have stayed in if it wasn't, because of the kids. And so I finished my tour and went to work for IBM.
So tell me what you were like as a kid, and what made you join the Marine Corps?
Well, I was actually born in the Bronx, but came to Connecticut when I was 7. Lived on a farm, and it wasn't a big working farm, but it was a farm. But I lived in an area in Milford called Naugatuck Gardens, so I used to work on those farms when I was a little kid, and 80 hours a week at 60 cents an hour, no overtime. But that was a lot of money in those days,
Yeah.
for a kid to have. I mean, that gave me enough spending money for college and everything after I went through. And, I grew up down there, and then I told you about going to college and everything else. Did you have one question, Grace?
Were there any proud moments or memories in your service?
Oh, I had a lot of proud moments. I was a company commander, and I had a company of engineers, and we had our own boat that is an LST. An LST is a boat that opens up in the front, and you can drive your tractors and dozers and stuff in there. One of the things that did, President Kennedy was in office at that time, and they needed an airfield to practice with a particular airplane that they could catch it coming down so they could stop it on a short runway. It was a statistical transport system. And it worked off a 2,000 horsepower jet engine where there was a big belt. And they put it on the front of the airplane and on a hook, and they'd rev that thing up, and the plane could get up in about 25% of the space. We were going to Vietnam then, so they needed to be able to get in and get out. And then they reverse it the other way, coming in. Then the belt would catch them. And I was in charge of setting that whole thing. It was quite a project, an engineering project. But that was a lot of fun. Had a lot of proud moments in the Marine Corps.
So you were drafted, and then you went on.
I wasn't drafted.
You
I
weren't
joined.
drafted. You joined.
I joined
Okay.
to avoid the draft.
To avoid the draft.
So you,
Because that way you can choose where you want to go.
Oh, all right. So
Oh,
what's
okay.
the difference between getting drafted and joining?
Well, joining, you just simply, sign up. Drafted is when you have to go in because the country needed you at that point in time.
Okay.
I effectively was drafted, but I just chose the Marine Corps,
Okay.
yeah.
which I enjoyed,
Great.
still do. We always, we get a lot of literature from, and we have meetings, and so a lot of things go on. There's a Marine Corps League that's very active, so.
So, do you have any mementos that you brought in that bag that you'd like to share with
I
us?
brought a couple of little things, nothing that was really well, the first thing I'll show you, that's my football picture in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Still have, I had a lot of pictures. And then the next thing was, the reason I got out of the Marine Corps was my 5 daughters. They needed their daddy,
Yeah.
That's
and
nice.
it was time to go to work and stuff. So I went to work for IBM,
Yeah.
which I
Okay.
enjoyed. I even have a Marine Corps clock these days. But I got a bunch of stuff at home.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
You enjoyed your time?
I enjoyed the time. I had a good time in the Marine Corps.
Were there any?
The Marine Corps has a lot of parties too.
Yeah.
They have this Marine Corps ball that you get all dressed up in your blues, their fancy uniforms and stuff like that. And there's always something going on. It's a lot of hard work, and they're very vigorous. You got to want to be an athlete to be there. You just wouldn't. A lot of people have to drop out
Yeah.
because they just can't take it. Because the purpose of the drill sergeants are to try to, break you.
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing. So
Were you
Yeah.
ever scared with what you did?
scared? No.
No.
Yeah, I was never in really bad situations. There was one night that I was a little bit concerned. I got that telephone call in the night. It says, "You're going to Guantanamo Bay to build a road through Guantanamo Bay so that the Cubans could land." You probably don't even know about Cuba. That was called the missile crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The missile
And
crisis.
the Russians were building missiles in Cuba. And it was kind of interesting because I went down, loaded the boat, and it was going to take us about a day and a half to get there. And by the time we got all finished, the whole thing was over with because President Kennedy was the president at the time, and he was going to bomb on the back of the little mountain that was there. He was going to bomb the 400 Russian tanks that were there. He didn't know at that time that there were Russians in the tanks. And if he bombed them, we would have had World War IV or 17 at that time. But they found out just in time that there were Russians in there. So we called it off. We took our ship back, and The 6
Wow.
battleships were there. You know, they couldn't hit them with a battleship because a battleship has a 30-inch shell and it goes 30 miles, and you can't get it to go straight down on the other side of a mountain.
Yeah.
So that was a little scary, but I was ready to go. I was packed up and anyway, and you know, loaded my boat. You know, I had a whole engineer. There were 150 guys in the company, so.
Right.
But it was very interesting.
Were there any moments where you wanted to give up?
No.
No, you just loved the whole ride.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, there's no reason to. I mean, I was sad to have to leave.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know. You know, still, but you know, life goes on.
Yeah.
You have to do what you got to do.
Hmm.
Uh,
Grace, you had a question?
Would it be a good idea for young people now to join the Marine Corps?
Well, they got to make that decision because there's a lot of things going on. Right now, it's probably a good time because you know there's not. It's too bad, but you know Afghanistan's there and all those other things are there, but we're getting out of there, and it's a great way of life, and you know if you got to join or you know, and if you were interested, a lot of people are interested in the service. It's a great career. Plus, you know, you get retirement and everything. You know.
So, did you make any close friendships that you continued after you left the service?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a few. Matter of fact, we get together every few years.
There are
Yeah,
reunions?
Yeah, there's reunions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you know, we get a lot of literature from them. So,
Yeah.
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 Do you ever see the news and see like, wow, this, the military technology has changed since I was in the military? And
Oh yeah, it's tremendous changes. I mean, there's things that you never even dreamed about. Because remember, it was over. I got out over 50 years ago.
Oh.
So just all sorts of things that you
Yeah.
just didn't even dream of anymore.
all these
But it makes it
gadgets.
easier. You know,
Right. It's
they're all good things, and they keep on going.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever have troubles with being away from family and home? And how did, if so, like, what did you do to cope
I-
with that?
I actually never had trouble because I was married.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, after graduation from Boston College, the next day I was supposed to get married, but the Marine Corps changed that. They said I had to be in Quantico. So at Boston College, you have 2-week vacation at Easter time. So we got married at Easter time. We took my wife down, and she had a ball down there because there's a lot of young officer wives where we were, because I was an officer's
Yeah.
school. And yeah, I had my first daughter in Virginia, in Dumfries, Virginia. Every once in a while we go past that on the highway, and I have to kid my daughter about it because I have another daughter in Williamsburg, and every year we go down. Sometimes we stop, and we
Yeah.
stay overnight or something. You know, they still let you go in and go to the officers' club and stuff. Mhm.
All right.
Did you ever get any like bad injuries or anything?
Football injuries. That's about it. Oh, I got whacked with a steam shovel one time.
Ow.
65 stitches and broken tooth. Matter of fact, the tooth broke again after 50 years. So I'm in the midst of getting a new one.
Just waiting to
Wow.
break again.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps up our interview. Thank you
Good.
Thank you again for coming. We loved having you. Thank you, Jerome.